Alright, here we go. Alrighty. Let's get this party started. Content. Just tell the Discord quick. YouTube. Taboki, how are we doing? How are we doing? Doing good, man. Good. Life is good, bro. Life is good. Hi. Oh, I'm gonna try to pronounce your name. Teskisu. I hope I said that right. Hello from France. Well, hi. Life is good. Sharib, how are you doing? Ryu, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. Decided to do this morning stream for everybody before I go ahead, about the day and get this day started. Ryu, hello, Charles, how are we doing? The diabetic dentist. I need to get back to you, by the way. I saw you message me, the diabetic dentist, on Discord. So I will get back to you because we talked about BioLace together. Mamoon, doing good, man. We'll look at it for sure. Randall, Isaac, Smokey, how are you? Miss Baragainsta? Noel. First let's go. Yeah, guys, like the stream so we can get it popping and hopefully get on the. Sorry guys, my hair looks crazy. It definitely grew out quite a bit. Yeah, I know. I look kind of shabby. Dave, always with the super chats. Dave, man, I don't know. We need to do something for Dave. The chart man himself, the person who I am learning a lot from on the Discord. Appreciate you, my man. Amid, doing good. Good morning, self-made. Man, we're pretty busy this morning. I really thought we'd be a lot more of an intimate crowd. So, I don't know. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun today. Your hair is one of a kind. Yeah, thanks. I don't know. I need to definitely get a haircut quick. Yeah, we're almost 17,000 subscribers. Guys, that's why I'm here today. I kind of want to talk about my plans for the channel. My plans for you all as the viewers and the subscribers, because I need to identify. I've been trying to think with myself, like, what can I do for the subscribers? I know a lot of YouTubers, they have things like, their Discords, which I do have, by the way, so feel free to join the Discord. It's in the description. And I do also have a Patreon, but I need to figure out a way to give back. I don't know. I want to do like charity work, charity streams, charity donation streams, because I know YouTube allows people to do that as content creators. So maybe we can all get together and, give back, because I know we've been seeing a lot of financial success so far this year. But the most important thing I think in life is not only making money, but distributing your money in the proper places. So yes, you need to make sure you and your family are always doing well. That is, 100% the goal. But in addition to that, we need to give back to the less fortunate. We need to give back to those who, are in more need than we are, because we can fall into this tunnel where it's like, okay, all this money's coming in for me, and that's truly something we all have to appreciate. But what we do with the money we gain, you can either change your standard of life, right? Because we see it all the time when more and more people. Let's just look at professionals, for example, professional athletes. They come from a pretty, I don't want to say maybe a less fortunate background, but they change their lifestyle substantially after money starts flowing into them, flowing into their bank accounts, etc. So that's the one thing we need to understand, and one thing that I have told myself in my head, I need to make sure that I do not change my standard of living, because I don't come from millions of dollars. I don't come from a wealthy family. So I kind of want to ensure that I keep my standard of living the same as more money comes in. So instead of just using all of that on myself, we identify a way to give back. And I think that's one of the most important things in life. How can we give back? Hamoud, welcome to the chat. Um, yeah, I'll talk about some stocks, later on in the stream. But I kind of wanted to make this more of like a question and answer type thing. How for us to kind of start that dynamic, get to know one another, because we see the same people for sure. Like we are growing fast, but at the same time we do have the people we see often. Like Shoaib, man, I recognize you. Arash is always in the comments, so you know who you are. Mamoon, always there. Jafar, Zakat. Hey Jafar, are you? I didn't know you you knew about that, but absolutely Zakat. Got to give back, especially because a lot of people were hit differently in the pandemic. You probably know yourself, right? Like, for example, I know like my mother lost her job during the pandemic, and I know a lot of others have too. So, got to understand a way to give back. Durham, I appreciate you, man. Big fan. I appreciate you guys. But one thing, I can't stop looking at the comments or all the chats coming in. Darist, I'm doing good, man. Doing really good. Alhamdulillah, doing good, man. Staying healthy and moving forward. Wa alaikum salam to everyone who does speak Arabic or all that good stuff. But anywho, one thing I want to touch on real quick is a lot of people have brought to my attention an article that was published yesterday on Saturday actually about this whole Warren Buffett's favorite valuation metric is ringing an alarm. So everyone, this man on the screen right now, Warren Buffett. He's a man that, he understands the market. He understands market fundamentals, the economy in a way that a lot of us don't. And that's the big thing, is that he not only understands the U.S. stock market and, all of these things, but in addition, he understands the economy very, very well. So the chart I was looking at is this whole thing with this Buffett Indicator. So you guys can, of course, read through this, but, here it says, with U.S. equity indexes rising to fresh records again this week, one of Warren Buffett's most famous catchphrases come to mind: investors should be fearful when others are greedy. And again, I'm not a bear whatsoever. I'm a person who thinks this bull market will continue, and we're going to see it continue to rise. But we need to understand, the man is someone we need to appreciate because he has a very strong track record. Any Buffett discipline who checks in on the billionaire investor's favorite market valuation metric these days may get the urge to shirk in terror. So the Buffett Indicator is a simple ratio, very simple ratio, and they say it here. So I'm just reading directly from this article. The total market capitalization of U.S. stocks divided by the total dollar value of the nation's gross domestic product, or the GDP. So again, this is getting a little bit into economics. So it first crossed above its previous dot-com era peak in 2019. So guys, we know about the dot-com, we know about the dot-com bubble, right? Back in early 2000s, the late 90s, 2000s, we saw the stock market surge at an all-time high. Again, and this is again, what it's looking at is this ratio specifically. But we saw what happened with the uptrend. It kept going, and people kept saying it was a bubble, and others were kind of just like, forget it. I don't want to really pay attention to that. But thereafter, we saw it kind of trickle back down, and what we saw was a market crash, right? And the nice thing with it did take a long time for it to recover. But again, going back to this GDP, the ratio itself of the total market capitalization of the U.S. stocks divided by the total dollar value of the nation's GDP. Again, we're seeing almost an identical movement here. So what they might call is an overvalued market. So again, what I'm here to tell everybody is that I'm not someone who's I try not to have too much fear when it comes to investing, because again, whatever we do with the investments and the money we put into the market, always remember the market can always it can correct, again, but overall what we see is an upward trend. So if I pull up just an S&P 500, the S&P 500 index, again, top 500 companies here in just the United States, and we look at the max chart, as you can see, overall the trend is what? It's upward. Right? There's corrections on the way. So we saw, correction in 2000 with the dot-com bubble, came back down, quite a bit, pull back about 40-50%. A lot of people sold out, their IRAs, their investment retirement accounts, whatever it might be, because they were in fear. But if you would have just waited a little longer after the correction, things recover. Yes, this year's recovery was pretty insane. So if we just look at the 5-year, for example, here in 2020 because of the COVID pandemic, so the market did correct. But again, now we saw correct back to where it was, and then now it's blown past previous highs pre-pandemic by a long shot. I know that 500 index is not something that it's a know all say all, but instead, we can use it as a tool to understand what does the market trend look like. That's what we all talk about, right? As people who like to day trade, as people who like to look into stocks, what do we do when the market corrects, and how can we just ensure our own success? So what I say is, like, for example, you're someone who decided to start investing beginning of 2020 or right during the pandemic crash. So you started investing right here. You're up substantially if you just put your money into the S&P 500 index. Most of us haven't. Most of us bought into recovery stocks that we know since then have 100, 200, 300, 400%, had 400% returns already. And just, it hasn't even been a year yet. So again, the big thing is like a lot of people are getting greedy. More and more people are buying into the market, which again, for me, it's not a bad thing. I have been putting money in nonstop since pre-pandemic and post-pandemic now. It's not post-pandemic, I shouldn't say that, but again, in this recovery phase that we're seeing. But can there be a market correction? Yes, but what did we learn about market corrections is it bounces right back up. That's generally what happens. We'll see a slight correction. It might take a month or two or three, but things recover and, life moves on. So if you're someone who's fearful of a correction because you have too much money in your investment account, then that's understandable, but that's also a sign that, hey, maybe I have too much money, too much stake in the market. For those of you who jumped into these hype trains, hype bandwagons with the whole GME, AMC, and you're trying to still recover from those hits, understand that, we know the life cycle of fear of missing out. I talked about it in my previous video. But overall, we just need to invest carefully. We need to decide, how am I going to invest? They always say, don't put all of your income. So say you're a person that makes $50,000 a year. You're not going to put $30,000 into your investment account. Rather, maybe 5, 10, 15, whatever it is. There's different ratios that people believe in. But again, you're putting in a substantial enough amount that, yes, it's going to do well for you over time. But at the beginning, it's... at the very end of the day, it's, whatever money you want to put into the market, just understand in your head that there's going to be volatility. There might be a market crash. Yes, people are scaring everyone away from the market, which I don't believe in. I don't believe in the people trying to say, oh, we're going to see a market crash, we're going to see a huge market correction, because it bounces back, and I can't reinforce that enough, guys. Just remember, please don't appreciate the market. Appreciate the fact that we're in a bull market currently, and also setting trailing stop losses, setting ways to mitigate your risk. Those are all things that are okay, especially if you're up 100, 200%. Don't get too greedy. Take some profits off the top. That's okay. Put money aside. Keep some liquid cash on hand in case you do want to reinvest. And Dave with another super chat. Man, Dave never stops, guys. I don't know what to do with this guy. It's just hard to hold on to money than it is to make it. That is so true. Let's actually embrace that for a second. It is just as hard to hold on to money than it is to make it. That is such a true statement. I 100% believe in it. Believe in that statement, because it is. It's again, the more money we make in society, the more money we start making, the more our lifestyle changes. And I talked about that right at the beginning. So because of that, again, we see people changing their ways of life. And why do we do that? It's just because that's society, that's psychology, that's just how things work. I go from making, as a college student, $0 to, $30,000, $40,000 a year. From that, just by itself, you're gonna say, okay, now I want to buy a nicer car. I want to buy a nicer apartment. I'm not, and that's just how life is. So those are very, very true statements. But again, right now we're still in a recovery phase. The market is booming, don't get me wrong, but we are in a recovery phase. So, Saad, wa alaikum salam, how are you doing? I just wanted to get that out there, just my perspective. Again, I'm not a person who's a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but just logically speaking, I'm a person who just believes in logic. That's how I got through school. That's how I got through, everything in life is like, okay, does it logically make sense? And that's what we do, with charts and patterns, right? Day traders, you look at patterns. We like patterns. That's just how things work, especially in the market. So, yeah. And I know it's not going to be the most favorite thing, but I don't want to focus too much on stocks during this live stream. I kind of want to just talk about life, the 2021 plan. What is the plan for 2021? Like, financially and otherwise. You want to financial help with the DD big time. James, I appreciate that. I'm not a financial advisor, but again, yeah, I'm just giving you guys more perspective. And we could pull up our favorite stocks, of course, Somatica, things like that. But I kind of want to talk about, more of my background, because a lot of people are like, how did you learn so much about the stock market? Guys, online, youtube.com. This website is phenomenal. If you just literally search stocks, I don't know, if you want to look up how to trade stocks, just literally a YouTube search just like that. There are so many videos out there, and that's really how you teach yourself. We have this tool called the internet where you can literally go in and identify different ways you can learn how to trade literally from scratch for free, zero charge. And that's the best part about it, is the internet allows you it gives you these tools. Yes, people do charge for them, but there's all these YouTubers who just teach you how to trade, how to look at charts, the most basic ways, and that's it. Google, use your resources. It's really such an easy way to potentially make, a significant amount of money outside of your day job. And that's the big thing, is like, for me, my goal for 2021 personally, I wish I had like some type of, I don't know, I'm gonna keep putting Warren Buffett's face on the screen because he's a wise man. But the grind season 2021, Rocky, I see that. Definitely. Finishing college this year, 2021 was looking up for me. Darius, man, I finished college a couple years ago, and that was really, it was the biggest milestone for me for sure, getting through that college hump. But yeah, finance and maybe economics. What do you think? Majoring in finance, man, finance I truly think it's a really good field, right? They'll teach you about how to understand money in a different way, and also economics. Like, those two go hand in hand. We know what happens if you understand finance and economics, and at 16 coming into a stream like this, or you're trying to learn about stocks early on. You're looking at you're gonna do yourself a big favor, Tyler. So I think that's a really good field to get into, and money never stops. So business and that kind of thing, any of those fields, that was my initial passion was, business, and I wanted to get into like business administration, analytics, statistics. I really like math, but then I decided to switch over to pharmacy just because of the analytical aspect of it. So I really like the chemistry, the basic sciences, and a little bit of being the immigrant story, right? Our parents push us to pursue something within healthcare, so you know how that goes. All right, what else do we got? 135 people. Wow. Stream is big for just the little Q&A. But yeah, you guys can ask questions. I know you want to talk about stocks, which we can, but I'm here to answer questions about myself, about the channel, anything that you guys might have, because I've seen them in the YouTube comments, but and I could pull them up. Negative interest rates imminent. Being a pharmacist, what are your thoughts on PTN? James, I like how you put that in there. PTN, I don't know what PTN is. Let's see, PTN, stock. I'm sure it's a stock. Palatine Technologies. I don't know much about this one. I'll pull it up quick. In the pipeline, what did they have? Oops, sorry. Hypoactive sexual desire disorder. So again, a pharmaceutical company, it looks like, that have different products on their pipeline. Things for cardiovascular disease, very early stage. Well, they do have one thing that's FDA approved. Vyleesi. I don't know this product. Let's see. Access, FDA. I don't know much about Vyleesi. That's probably the proper pronunciation. But I don't want to dive too much into it. It's Wally, my man. Doing good, bro. Doing good. We're just going to look at this quick. I just want to know more about it. Bromolatide for subcutaneous use initially. Okay, it's a melanocortin receptor agonist indicated for the treatment of premenopausal women. Treatment of premenopausal women with acquired generalized hypoactive sexual desire disorder. So in the US, things like this for sure can do well. I have never seen this in practice. I haven't seen it. At my pharmacy, we serve about a few thousand patients per month, so nothing too substantial. But probably has some potential. I'll have to look into their clinical I want to know more about their sales, about the company itself. Looks like, again, early stage pharmaceutical company, $264 million market cap, makes it a very small market cap. Stock, which is a penny stock, looks like it already had a pretty decent run up this year. So I don't know when it got FDA approval. That might be one of the catalysts for it. So people are anticipating maybe pretty significant earnings Q4, because looking at this here between December, yeah, pretty much yeah, it's continuously running up. So I'll definitely keep this one on my radar and watch list. But it seems like it definitely has some potential. I'll look at it. Let's close this up here. But yeah, again, I started talking about my 2021 plan a little bit, but didn't go into it too much. But regardless, the channel, guys, has been, growing. You guys are liking the videos, and thank you for liking the stream today, by the way. I really appreciate it. And I don't know, I literally started this in December. So I made this channel a long time ago, and I had, I think I got up to about 2,000 subscribers because I used it as a minority platform, as a podcast. So I had a podcast on my channel where I would interview other minorities who were succeeding in their respective fields. So I had engineers, I had I had students, I had doctors, I had I had a boxer, for example, a person who actually does MMA. So that's kind of where I started, and then I stopped YouTube videos for about a year and a half. Between then and now, between then and starting my financial channel, it was pretty much, the pandemic hit, so I didn't really have much of an incentive to have interviews face to face because a lot of people had a lot of that fear and anxiety. And then when it came to Skype interviews and Zoom, they weren't as clear as, I had like kind of this standard that I wanted for the videos, because that's what people were tuning into, higher quality interview where I would ask the uncomfortable questions, like, why did you, I wanted people to talk about their failures, because a lot of people who were watching us were between like 16 and 20. So people who were either in high school or into college, just getting into college. And that's where it all started. So now the channel just has been, I don't know how this happened. I really don't. You guys can look back, one big banger was VGAC that I made, but 255 views, 500 views, 288 views when I first started. And then out of nowhere, it just started picking up quickly. We had some good stock picks, and I just did my fundamental analysis from my perspective, and then I started getting to the pharmaceutical stocks, and it's just growing and growing. 19,000 views here, 11,000, 30,000, like it's just nonstop growth, and I'm still in awe. So I don't know what I want to do as moving forward. I want to continue to grow the channel, but I want to help others because I know a lot of people told me like they want to. I've had people message me on Discord saying I want to start a YouTube channel as well, or I'm interested in talking about stocks, who have a unique perspective. So I think you got to look at it as, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring as your background that's different? Like I was telling Dave, for example, Dave coming in with a message quick. Let's interrupt this rant. Make sure all Chinese stocks have passed PCAOB auditing. And guys, remember what the PCA, that was with the whole delisting scare with Neo and Li Auto. But just as a reminder, what PCAOB is, if you guys, it's the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. So they're basically the ones who are auditing a lot of these, and it's PwC. So PwC, one of the biggest auditing firms in the U.S. They're one of the big focuses for international companies that are maybe not located in the U.S. But what Dave says here is he's trying to save you guys, the hassle and trouble, because if a stock doesn't have clearance or haven't passed PCAOB, then they could potentially get delisted, which will give you a big hit. So I know there was a big scare back, what happened with Neo. If we look at just, way back when, but we saw, I think it was around November, there was like the delisting scare, which brought it down substantially, 26% as you saw. But then guess what? People realized, they were actually okay. And since then, it's continued its run up, it's continued its momentum. So shout out to anyone who's in Neo. And for those who bought the dip and realized that this was just scare tactics, people were just trying to freak everyone out, here you go. You've recovered and you've made a killing out of it. So I'm long on Neo, got in at $17 a share. So, way back, it was September that I got in. Sometime in September, yeah, right around here. So up pretty substantially on my Neo position, and I'm really glad about that. So what Dave says is true. Make sure if you're in a Chinese company that it has that PCAOB clearance and audit check. Sorry about that. That was my alarm. maybe. But yeah. So anywho, you guys are still talking about the different stock picks. But yeah, anyway, with the channel, my goal is I have like milestone goals, smaller goals to get me to the big ones. So my first goal was getting to 1,000 subscribers. And that's what it is. It's setting smart goals. Smart goals, again, are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timeable. In life, always make sure that your goals are SMART. SMART. So that is something that I've done even for college when I was in school. I always looked at it as, is it a SMART goal? Is it specific? Is it something I can measure? So with the subscriber, it's like, by when did I want to get 1,000? Guys, I'm going to tell you all straight up on the stream today. For me, my goal with my subscribers, by the end of 2021, I was aiming for 10,000 subscribers. We're almost at 17,000 and it's February. So now I have to realize, okay, maybe the channel's going to grow faster than I definitely anticipated. 500, 500,000 people viewed my videos, which is just mind-boggling to me. And I don't know what to say. I'm really speechless when it comes to the channel. But yeah, as Rocky says, bro, gonna go for 100K. Honestly, I think that's gonna be my year-end goal now. I know that I had 10K for 2021, but obviously we blew past that in the first month. So what I will say is I want to see if I can get to 100,000 subscribers with the help of you all, continuously sharing, liking the videos. And that's the big thing, is the fact that we're growing this community. That's, people are piling into the videos early on, which is helping, with the YouTube algorithm. We know that there's this, majestic algorithm in the background that kind of dictates whether a video does well, gets to other people's recommended feed, and versus not. So yeah, this is just the start. And that's why I know a lot of people start, slowly but surely closing doors because the channel's starting to get big. But as of right now, the Discord, guys, we are seeing continuous growth. I am really liking what we're seeing with the Discord. We're almost at 4,000 members. So again, use the link below if you want to join us on the Discord. Completely free, no charge whatsoever. We have people like Dave and Rocky who are there helping actively. And fortunately for me, my big focus is creating the content and the videos. But I'm in there as much as I can be, and when you message me, I try to respond. So if I haven't responded to you, there is a lot of messages in my feed, but I will get back to you as soon as I can. So I appreciate all of you, and yeah, don't worry. And I see people talking about Jaguar Health, JAGX. I just want to touch on that one because I know that's one of our stock picks. But yeah, guys, I mean, it's been pretty, I don't know. It's been on a downward trajectory. That's definitely for sure from its peak. Down 28%. And I always say, for me, it's not something that I'm short-term on. I know a lot of people did get in on the play because they felt it was short-term. We talked about Jaguar Health at $1.78. And so again, for those of you who took profits or set your trailing stop losses, you made a decent amount of money. But I know a lot of people kept coming back because I kept making updates, because we're waiting for more news to come out with the company. It's still so young, $349 million market cap. But the items on their pipeline, the anti-diarrheals, the formulations, the fact that they're plant-based, these are all the things that really interest me as a pharmacist, and I think they will do well in the near future. So I'm not someone that's worried about it pulling back. I'm honest at this point, averaging up when I see the market pull back. So yes, my dollar cost average was about $1.78, but I've averaged up a couple times. At $2.72, I bought in some more shares, and I'm someone that's looking to continuously get more and more shares of this company over time. But that's just me, and I just tell you guys the things that I'm doing, and it just seems like things overall have worked well. But I can't say I have a 100% track record. I'm not a person who can, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I am optimistic and currently continuously holding my shares, and I'm hoping for the best. So we'll see. Average down if you believe in the company's vision. If you're cost average, someone said $3.25. Who was that? Let's see. Somewhere in here you said it. Yeah, Yordi Hop. So I know you said $3.25 is your average, but I don't know how many shares you have. But if you remember why you bought into the company, and if it's truly because you're long on it, this is what you'll find as an opportunity to average down, because right now it's down substantially from that 325 range. So that's what I'll say about Jaguar Health. Waiting for a lot more news to come. The company's very, very young in terms of their products, and a lot of things on their expansion pipeline are also yet to come, and additional FDA approvals. So young pharmaceutical company, which I'm pretty optimistic about for the long term. So yeah, that's that's Jaguar Health. But again, guys, I talked about, my plan. Yeah, again, the next milestone, I'd like to see, 20,000 subscribers. That'd be fantastic come March. And yeah, we'll see exactly what happens. No idea what the future has in store, but I want to continue to make content. And I think the big thing is people like the fact that we're doing daily videos, and I want to continue doing that every single day, one upload at least. And on the weekends, do some of these live streams and things like that. I want to start interacting with my Discord members even more. And I know there's all these things that I keep saying that I have planned, but it's still up and coming. So that's the goal with the Your Pop channel. I am a gamer also. I love playing video games, believe it or not. So I am married, I'm an adult, I'm a grown man, but I still love playing video games. I have always played them throughout my education, throughout my schooling, and I love it. I play, Call of Duty, love playing with my friends, and I want to start playing with you guys. I know a lot of people on Discord. I look on the right hand side and it tells me what people are doing. I've seen people on League of Legends and all these other video games, and that's a fun way to spend some time. Not too much time. Focus on your studies if you're still in school, but gaming I think it's a healthy hobby as long as you don't overdo it. And Dave, gotta ask, did anyone buy any floral stocks February 1st? Stop chasing your tail. Yeah. I did not buy any floral stocks, but I understand what you mean. And Dave brought up something earlier in the Discord that I thought was funny, is that a lot of people they don't understand what, when something is already priced into a stock. So although we are looking for, like floral stocks, for example, because that's what we're talking about currently, with floral stocks, we have we know Valentine's Day is today. So floral sales are going to be through the roof relative to the rest of the year because, spouses, partners, they don't buy things for one another typically until there's, certain occasions, anniversaries. But Valentine's Day is a standard amongst all of the United States. So what people don't understand is if you were buying a week before Thanksgiving, or not Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, then, the prices, if you're buying into those stocks specifically, it's already priced in that, Valentine's Day is February 14th. And again, the floral stocks are going to do well come Q. News is going to come out on Monday saying, oh, this company had this much more money coming in, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, regardless, that's kind of what the idea is behind that. And Dave can, can mention more about that, of course. But anywho, so yeah, guys, again, a little bit more about, myself, because I told you guys this would be a Q&A. Not a lot of people are asking questions. Ask questions, guys. What do you guys want to know about me? BHTG. I'll bring that up quick because this was one. It's going. It's going. Talked about $1.40. We've doubled up so far, and I am very happy to say I'm still holding on tight, even though it ran up to, I saw it hit $4 in the 5-day. If you see, I could have sold right here, for a pretty crazy return, but I'm long on Bio High Tech. This is a young company. Okay, enough stocks. I'll talk about more stocks later, but I want to, something's in my eye. But anywho, I want to answer questions. Where do you live? I don't know if I want to answer where I live. Let's just say this. There's a lot of snow outside. Okay, you're not going to be able to tell. There's a lot of snow outside, and it's very, very cold here in the Midwest. So, yeah, it's freezing. It's like negative, 20 degrees or something. I want to move to California as soon as I can. Or Las Vegas. California has a lot of, the high tax brackets and etc. What's your background or ethnicity? I'm actually Sudanese. So I was born in Sudan, and we immigrated to the United States when I was 7 years old. So I was a young lad when we first came to the U.S. And since then, things have been pretty good. Overall, there was some hiccups because the time we came around 2001, and you guys know about the whole 9/11 thing that happened here in the U.S. So we came, my siblings and I came with my mother, and my father kind of came he was delayed his homecoming 5 years actually. So we were without him for about 5 years. Oh, Mamoon, that's awesome, man. Shout out to the Sudanese gang. What do your other previous friends from college do as their career job? I have a lot of friends that are in software. That's a good question, Rocky. I like how, but yeah, I have a lot of friends who are also pharmacists. I have some friends who are physicians. Yes, shout out to all the Sudanese people. Have friends who are, all ethnicities are very vast. A lot of my friends are from Sudan because we settled in an area that had a lot of Sudanese people in the U.S. But I do have friends of all, Asians, Americans, South Americans, Africans, Europeans, everything. Especially because, again, early on I was always into gaming, so I developed a pretty wide and large network because of that. So that's always been something that's pretty fun. PC or console? Oh, that's a good question. So I play on my PC, but I use a controller. I'm one of those guys. I can never get used to using a mouse and keyboard. I've tried it. But on my PC, I do play some like MMORPGs here and there. But otherwise, I play on my PC with a joystick, with a controller. How much cash do I have in the bank? Jay, if I told you how much debt I'm in because of pharmacy school, then you'd be shocked. So I'm still in the negative, to be honest. I know a lot of people are, but not much at all. Maki, glad to be on this journey with you, doing Kursk's right now. Oh, Maki's one of my gaming friends. Oh man. Oh boy, DX, you're pretty close. Pretty close. Yeah, I play some Call of Duty for sure. Cash, no debt? No, lots of debt. Pharmacy school put me in a whole lot of debt. And that's one thing I want to try to, get out of, hopefully, in the next coming years, especially by using things like the stock market to my advantage, trading, the YouTube platform, all these things, the community that we're building. It's also, fortunately, it's helping out financially as well. So yeah. Haval, good to hear from you as well. Are you a midget? No, I'm actually 6'2". I'm pretty tall. How much is financial freedom in your opinion? Roms, that is a very good question. How much is financial freedom in your opinion? Guys, in my opinion, financial freedom is basically at the point where you have enough money in the market. So for example, let's just use dividend stocks, for example, that are paying you enough to sustain your lifestyle and living for the next 40 years if you're someone in your 20s, 50, 60. Regardless, it's just enough money saved that you can put enough in your investments, or the money that you can take, the profits, if you're on, say, an index fund, enough profits coming in to sustain your living. So for some people that might be, $1 million. For some it's $10 million. And it all depends on your lifestyle, right? So again, for me, I never want to be a person who stops working, because my parents instilled in me, and my, the fact that just, the immigrant story, the fact that, we came from something less. Like, the one thing I like to always give people perspective of is how much money. Do you guys want to know something interesting? I come from Sudan. In the comment section, real quick, estimate or guess how much money a pharmacist makes in Sudan, like on a month-to-month basis. A pharmacist or doctor, they make about the same in Sudan. I want you guys to guess. Ryan, I did play basketball. I played basketball a lot. Lots of rec leagues, lots of things like that. Rocky says $400 a month. Budry says $400, $500 a month. $30K a month, dearest. $40,000, Mamoon. You guys all of you have overshot. A pharmacist and doctor right now in Sudan, they make equivalent to the United States dollars. I'm just going to do a quick calculation. So it's this divided by this. This is how much money. Sorry if my phone's a little dirty. 125 USD per month salary in Sudan. That's how much money my family is making back home as professionals. $125 a month. Now, everybody here, if you go out, and I'm not disrespecting, I used to work at McDonald's myself, so, once upon a time, that's what I used to do as a teenager. But anyone who works in the fast food industry, would you ever accept $125 a month? Absolutely not. That's not even enough to sustain, basic standards of living, especially here in the United States. But back home, that's also not much money. So that's why I feel like, a lot of people don't have that perspective. And that's the big thing that I think helped me kind of continue this projectile moving forward, or this upward trajectory for my siblings and I, for my family, for my friends, is the fact that I go back to Sudan as often as I can. I haven't been back since 2016. We're planning to go 2019, but that's, about the time I got married, everything like that. A lot of life events happened, and now the pandemic, so I haven't visited since. But every time I go back, guys, like, I wish I could show you some of the pictures, but it's just, it's it's something that is super painful to see, but also at the same time, it's like, what can I do? The fact that I am so privileged to live in the United States to help them out and give back. Dave, I appreciate you, man. You're really doing too much, too many super chats, but I appreciate it, Dave. Don't do too much for don't do too much for me, but I'll do my best. So that's the big thing, as Dave said here. $5, right? What's that mean to each and every one of us? $5, a cup of coffee from Starbucks, a couple donuts from Dunkin' Donuts. It's the amount of money and insignificance $5 is here. It's really nothing. If you take $5 and take it back home, where I'm from in Sudan, and a lot of you are probably also foreigners or have family or friends overseas, what we can do with $5 elsewhere is huge. So once you have that perspective, once you're able to kind of go back, travel. That's what I always say. I had a family friend of mine who asked, what's your intake, or what are your thoughts on children who are spoiled? For any of you who have children, and here, especially in the United States, it's easy for a kid to get spoiled. But they ask me, what's a way to help my children leave the spoiled phase that they're in, or change their perspective? And I tell them, take them to a third world country. Take them to a country where there's really not even the basic rights and basic living conditions that you and I see. Running water in our faucets. And again, I don't want to make this a downer, because today's Valentine's Day. It's a day for loving. It's a day to be happy. But the reason that I kind of mention these things is that, and I'm going off on a tangent because, again, this is off the top of my head, but I'm just sharing my perspective. But the basic livings of water, toilets. Guys, toilets are almost a commodity where I come from, right? In Sudan, it's very common for us to not use a toilet to use the bathroom. And unfortunately, that's just how a lot of people do live. So here, the fact that I live in this, I live in an apartment currently, but the fact that I have carpet, I have a couch, I have a kitchen, all these things at my disposal makes me kind of understand and appreciate, especially because I have the perspective from elsewhere. So taking yourself a time to maybe go on not a vacation, but if you're someone who feels like you're in this rut of, I'm continuously looking to buy more expensive things, my lifestyle is not keeping up, like if you're someone who's using living paycheck to paycheck, maybe take the time to not even travel. You can now travel online. Go online and just look at these third world countries. Take time to kind of see the perspective from their angle, and then kind of embrace that and see, okay, maybe the fact that these people are living in such such basic standards, maybe I could bring down my living expenses, my living situation by a little bit, 10%, 20%, 30%. Because if we reflect and look back, we'll understand and realize that, hey, maybe I don't need that cup of coffee from Starbucks. Maybe I don't need those brand new shoes that just came out for $250, $200. Those little things over time, guys, are going to save you so much money. And instead, put it into the market. Instead, put it elsewhere for it to grow. I believe in, giving back. So for me, giving money to the less fortunate, giving money to family back home that needs it, that's a way to, help money come more. I believe more money will come into your life if you're able to, use it in the right places, in the right ways. But yeah, I'm going off on a tangent. I'm very passionate about this stuff, so send them back home. Absolutely, Mahmoud, sorry. 100%, absolutely. Was Sudan ever part of Ethiopia? No. Ethiopia, Sudan, Eritrea, they're all part of like that East African peninsula right around the border there, but they're all separate. No problem. How old am I? I am 20. How old am I? 27. And still growing. A grown man. Love it. Got to appreciate what you have after viewing everything where you have been. Treat parents a bit. Bottom line, everyone who is here on a Sunday, on a Valentine's Day, are go-getters. Dave, that is 100% true. You're here to maybe just take some perspective, take some listening. You're part of this. You're part of this community. You're part of this family because you're someone who's interested in finding other ways, other means to make money outside of your potential day job. If you're a day trader, good for you. I wish I was a day trader, but I don't have that consistency day to day to sustain my current situation and pay for all the things. Come get a workout with your boy sometime. I got you. Last week, 3 a.m, and bought $1,000 of Chinese company shares without looking. much details. Later, I figured that company was an IPO a few days. Um, oh, DX woke up at 3 in the morning and bought $1,000. That's, I mean, maybe it's one of those days that you just decided to do something out of the ordinary. But I do wake up sometimes. I look at the pre-market, one eye open, one eye closed, and just kind of scrolling through. And then I just say, I'm going to buy some of this stock. Why not? Without any rationale, I just look at it and say, that just looks like a good stock. So that happens. I thought Chicago was a third world country. Dave. Oh, Dave, the comedian. Last week I woke up at 3 in the morning. I read that one. A great idea is to ask shops, coffees, do you take crypto? Build it all up. We'll talk about some other stocks. But yeah, we're just talking a lot about the channel, all this. I do want to pull up Patreon. For everyone people ask me I've gotten messages on Discord about my Patreon page. So Patreon is, it's a hub for creators to basically get additional, I don't want to say like additional support from their subscribers, their followers, etc. The people who are, on the journey with myself. And it's something that at first I was very skeptical about Patreon. Don't get me wrong, because I was like, how can I make people pay money for content? And so I completely disagree with that. By the way, I don't believe that, because I know a lot of people have these private courses, private Discords. But with the Patreon, what I decided to do was, I was like, I'll make a Patreon for anyone that's interested in it, just because they want to. I'm not going to have any additional benefits. It's, again, you're just going to have a supporter role on my Discord, which gives you, the red name, the red title. But over time, what I realized was, how can I not, do something more special for these people who are supporting this page? We're at 36 members. Again, for me, I thought 1 or 2 people would be joining us on Patreon, and I was like, okay, that would be fantastic. Maybe 10 over the long term. I wasn't someone who thought, because a lot of people who are on my channel are looking to make, financial gains. So you might see this as potentially like, okay, this is a little bit of a burden. I don't want to have to pay money for something. But I kind of decided over time, maybe I'll start providing more and more benefits for the Patreon. So for anyone that's asking, it's something that I'm looking forward to. And it's something that I'm just trying to figure out yet, a way to interact with everyone. We said we'll have like a weekly call where we talk about all things stocks. Because again, the whole idea is I want you to feel like, putting in money to this platform for this content is worth it. And so I'm hoping over time you do see some value in it. But as of right now, it's really just a support. So these 36 people, you know who you all are. For anyone that's in the chat right now, for example, I know Dave is one of my Patreon members. Jafar was in here earlier. Those are people who are, looking to additionally support the channel. So for anyone that's wondering, I do have a Patreon page. So feel free to support or join. I wish there was like a 99 cents per month, because again, I don't think $5 should be a minimum. It's like even a cent, whatever goes a long way. But what I want to do is for my Patreon page itself is not use the money for, nonsense or use it for whatever. I kind of want to create it as like a potential fund. Right now it's to maybe get some new things for my channel itself, new equipment, but I want to take the money and create a fund with it. I talked about a scholarship that I maybe have in mind when I have X amount of members. I want to start developing a scholarship for someone who wants to get into college whose family can't afford it, or figure out a way for us to push money to a certain, not just charity, but a certain location or a place that is in need. Then that way we can kind of look at, this is where our money is going. It's not only going to support a channel, but it's actually supporting a family. It's supporting a group, a city, whatever it might be. Because again, we talk about it. $5, what is $5? Back home in Sudan, $5 will give someone food for the full day, not someone, a full family, food for the day, a bed to sleep on, water to drink, and that's it. For $5, a whole family. So again, that's one of my long-term goals, and I'm still trying to identify ways to do it. So for anyone that's interested in joining the Patreon, we're going to identify ways to give back, because that is my biggest goal. Because guys, again, I do work full-time. I have a job, and before even doing this whole YouTube thing, I'm very happy with my job. I do enjoy it. Being a pharmacist is great, but I'm trying to still figure out how to navigate everything, and just trying to get everyone on plays that I'm in, and hopefully we'll all make money through 2021. That's the goal. Michael Scott, I haven't seen you in a while. Sorry to raise the voice, but this man has been MIA. Help me out, pay for med school. Oh man, yeah, med school is it's not cheap. Med school is insanely expensive. I have a sibling that's in med school currently, and he's paying a lot of money. Being a member of. Oh man, pops off topic. How you like your headset? My wife bought me these. I really like them. These they're what are they? HyperX. I like them a lot. This is not a brand deal by any means. HyperX. That's what they are. They have like this little adjustment where you can turn up and turn down the microphone input output. I like them. They're very, very nice. She bought them for me for my birthday. My birthday last year. So yeah. Welcome back, Michael. I hope all your exams are going well. What year are you in med school? Are you currently in med school or still in your pre-med phase? What you got? What got you into investing? Favorite meal? These are good questions. So honestly, guys, when I saw back in 2017, I really got into investing because it was only because we saw like the crypto boom. So I saw Bitcoin, $3,000, $3,500, and I was like, why is there so much money? Why is this, exponentially going up? What's happening? So that's what kind of triggered my eye. I was like, is this really, a get rich quick scheme? So I got burned quite a bit by it, and so I stopped investing after 2017, after the whole cryptocurrency boom. That's the initial way I got in. But yeah, it was after getting burned, I stopped investing. I stopped looking at the market for probably a whole year. And then back in 2018, I decided, let me start a portfolio, see how it goes. And I've enjoyed it since, really, for a few years now. I have really appreciated and enjoyed putting money into the market and seeing it grow. And that's the nicest thing, is that it did come down during March, but guess what? I was like, why is everyone selling? Why is everyone panic selling? This is a market correction. There's bad news out there. But is this bad news permanent? Is this whole CV, COVID thing permanent? It's not going to go away? No. Life was going to move on. So I was like, this is an opportunity to even buy more. So, logically, I was like, people are just panicking for no reason. This is not the end of the world. If it was, what's your money going to do for you anyway? So yeah, that's kind of why I decided to start getting into more and more investing. And really March of last year, came back in, bought a lot more stocks, and been going at it since. So I've been enjoying it a lot, been having a lot of fun with it. So yeah, that's kind of what's been going with that. And a lot of people, for anyone that's new in the stream, please like the stream, trying to get it out there so everyone else can tune in. For some reason, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. More likes, the more recommended pages it gets into, for whatever reason. But yeah. New investor, thank you for your guidance. Fernanda, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us on the stream. I appreciate sharing my perspective and you guys giving me yours as well. Michael, only second year pre-med. Oh man, you're in the money now though. My favorite color. My favorite color is blue. My favorite meal, honestly, Ryan, my favorite meal, any food my wife cooks, I consider is my favorite. She makes some really good food. I'm not a good chef myself. I can't cook worth crap. Like, I can make some good banana bread. So if you ever want some banana bread, let me know. I can get you for that. Aisha, thanks for your information. I like your content because you're a pharmacist. I like the medically related stock picks. I feel like I can relate little because I'm in the medical field. Registered nurse. Aisha, that's awesome. That's really good to hear. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being a nurse. Nurses are the heart and key to our healthcare system, our healthcare continuum. Without you, we would all be nothing. So we appreciate all your hard work and dedication, especially in these hard times. So thanks, Aisha. Tasir, thank you for liking the stream. Thank you very much for making these videos. This video are educational, and I started making real money. Baha, I'm so happy to hear that, and I hope it continues. Really hope we continue to see success throughout. You're smashing it. Keep it up. Karar, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Habib Elvi. Mana, what flicked the switch for you to return back to making YouTube videos? As you said, you recently got married and now are working. Mana, that's actually, I really like that question. So the reason I decided to get back into making YouTube videos is I enjoy it. I love every aspect of making a YouTube video, interacting with the comments, building a community, talking in front of a camera. Like I really enjoy it. What I do right now for work is stressful. As a pharmacist, especially right now during the pandemic, guys, me working, it's just been extremely busy and extremely stressful. So I needed a way to get stress out, and it wasn't healthy coming home with all this burden on my head. Oh, this happened to this, or this is going on. We have so many vaccines coming in. We're not vaccinating enough. Our wait list, just so much going on in my head that I decided, let me step back and identify what is a way that I can, get my mind off work. So really, every day I take an hour, and the wife and I talked about it first, and we made plans. We got together. It was pretty much right after Thanksgiving, during Thanksgiving week. We went on a vacation, and she was like, what's a way for you think that could be like an outlet for your stress, or something for you to do that you really enjoy? And I was like, I want to start doing YouTube again. I want to start creating content, making videos, building a community, because I genuinely enjoy it. Like, this to me never feels like I'm doing it just because. Every day I come on this chair, I turn on this camera, I turn on this light, I come in with extremes, like a huge smile on my face, especially when I'm on the Discord throughout the day at work or during my lunch break. Like, not only do I enjoy looking at stocks, looking at the market, but reading what everyone else is talking about, it's addictive. I can't stop. So, Michael, I live in the Midwest. I do not live in California. I've been to California. I love California. It's probably my favorite state, but I don't live there because it's expensive and there's too much traffic. Muhammad Gisallah. So happy for your success of the channel. I've been talking to Dom about it. Hope all is well. Hey, Muhammad, shout out to you, bro. Thank you, man. It's been so much fun. I've really been enjoying it. And it's good to hear from you. Muhammad is an OG. I know this man. He's a good guy. Appreciate you, man. Allah khalik. Dunder, Midwest. Yep, Dave. Mental stress is a big deal. Don't sell your stocks until you remember why you bought them. Dave dropping the gems over and over and over. Guys, for anyone that's invested, yes, don't get into this fear of panic, right? When the stock market pulls back, or the shares that you own are pulling back, don't just sell because they're not, your stock is not doing well that day or that week. Because again, understand or remember why you invested into it, and because you invested for a reason. You put money into that stock for a reason. You believed in their fundamentals. You believed in the company, the business. And so you're a part owner. And that's something you need to understand, is that when you buy these shares, when you go on your cell phones and you look into your brokerages, when you pull up your apps, before you even decide to do anything, look at it and say, hey, why am I in these companies? Why am I putting money into these businesses? It's not only, if it's solely for the reason that you want to see your money grow, good for you. But for me, I've invested into NIO as a electric vehicle behemoth that is going to continuously grow in the coming years. Tesla, I believe in Elon Musk's vision. Jaguar Health, Mytesi, their products, the fact that they have this expanded pipeline. These are the reasons why we put our money into these businesses. And you're a part owner. Remember, when you have these stocks, it's not just for you. You are now the proud partial owner of a company. Embrace that. Right now, like, I am happy to say I own some of Tesla, I own some of NIO, Jaguar Health, Zomedica, whatever it might be. I could pull up the portfolio. I could tell you real quick, because you guys are in here, why don't I tell you guys what stocks I'm in? At some point, I think I'll get more comfortable to share it like on screen. But right now, for me, it's like, I'm not like some of these bigger YouTubers who have hundreds of thousands of dollars in their portfolios. But, Arenia Health, BFT, BHTG, pretty big position in BHTG, BNGO, Bionanogenomics, Clover Health, I bought in at the dip, and right now, because again, there was the big scare, CRNT, CRISPR, Cas9 or CRISPR Therapeutics. So I believe in CRISPR long term. Some airline stocks, including Delta Airlines, Fubo TV, anything that I mentioned on my channel really, Jaguar Health or JAGX, GEVO, GEVO, the ticker symbol, Genus, GNUS, because I'm following Chris Sain's advice on some of these things too. Hyliion from him as well. Longview Acquisition Corp, a SPAC. Mara, I talked about it on the channel. So all these different things. Neo, of course, big position. Nokia got in with the hype. Not gonna lie, small position, just because I was like, you know what? If there's one that I believe in, actually, it's gonna be Nokia. Upsiva Therapeutics, Open Door or Open OPEN, Senseonics, THBR, THCB, all these different specs. Tesla, VCVC, and overall, I've seen pretty nice returns over the year. So it's been pretty fantastic. Some of the other things that I'm in, ACIC. So I told you guys that I'm into some of these specs. I don't want to go off on a huge tangent, but looking at Vine Therapeutics, Atosa Therapeutics, ACRX, everything that I've talked about on my channel, pretty much, for the most part. If I told you guys I'm establishing a position, I am. And I have just different portfolios, but overall, yeah, of course, so Medica is the baby. We said that, one of the first things. But regardless, just a lot of different stocks that I'm in, and I hope to continue to grow my portfolio. Diversification, something I continue to preach on the channel. Diversify. Get yourself into different sectors that you believe in and that you think are something that, are here for the long term. That was you who hit my car, right? Dave, I hope not. I haven't hit a car yet. Oh, man. YouTube is a personal time travel journal, too. YouTube is a personal journal. Time travel and journal. That is so true. Looking back, hold on, guys. I need to sneeze. I'm going to mute. Can I mute? Oh, sorry. I'm moving the mic. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Hopefully I didn't break anyone's ears. But yeah, if you want many happy returns, make sure you know what you're doing with the IRS. Yes, that is true too. Understanding the whole tax landscape is super important. Right now it's tax season. It's probably my least favorite, but I'll keep that on my to-do list in the coming weeks for however long. But anywho, we talked a lot about it. More questions that you guys have. We have the channel in the background. Again, guys, please like the stream. Let's get it rolling. Let's click into it. More questions that you guys have. We have the channel. 99 likes on the stream. Wow, that is pretty awesome. Let's go. Bless you too, Rocky. Bless you too. Andrew, bless you. Ryan, bless you. Appreciate all you guys. I'm not an IDEX actually. But Sean, what do you say here? Hi, Ahmed. What would you suggest to someone who invested based on potential squeeze and got burned? Would you suggest a more fundamental approach or look for a squeeze? Sean, that is a really good question. So I have friends who I know that got burned pretty badly. Like they put thousands of their dollars that they couldn't afford to lose into GameStop, AMC, etc. But yes, you got burned, but then there's going to be a lot more more potential picks in the coming future. That's one strategy, looking for the next squeeze based off, Reddit hype. But personally for me, when I got burned by crypto back in 2017, guess what I did? I stayed away from it. I decided for myself to stay away from it, at least not to keep a substantial amount of money into it. So if you want to play with that, you can. But instead, you can find very solid, fundamentally sound companies to put your money into. Of course, not financial advice, my friend, but I think there's just so many opportunities right now in this bull market. And for the months to come, recovery plays, recovery stocks that are so young that have potential to not only double, triple, quadruple, but maybe 5, 10x, 10 baggers, whatever people like to call them. There's a lot more potential. So that's why I'm saying, kind of keep your eye out for fundamentally strong and sound companies and businesses. Treat the stock market not as a quick get-rich-quick scheme. That's one of the biggest mistakes you'll be making if that's the reason you're investing. Instead, look at it as potentially passive income, money that's going to come on the side as you put your money into these businesses that have very strong forecasts and projections. So that's kind of my take on that. But Sean, thank you for your comment because I know a lot of people got burned. So I am sorry for anyone that did, but understand that it's health. It's okay to make mistakes, but as long as you embrace that mistake and move forward in the right direction with it. Don't make the same mistake repetitively. Because again, that's one of my favorite YouTubers. If we pull up from the side here, it's the chicken account. I forget his he's a Singapore guy, but he always talks about donkeys and he's like, don't be a donkey. So I always remind myself to not be a donkey. Embrace your mistakes, guys. I've made big mistakes in my life. Make your mistakes. It's not a bad thing. But don't consider them, failures or mistakes. Instead, call them learning opportunities. Learning opportunities. So yeah, very good questions, guys. I really like the questions you're all asking. We've been at it for an hour now. I could literally stay on stream for probably a whole day, to be honest. 24 hours. But the fact that I'm married, my wife would probably get upset. And I want to. It is Valentine's Day, right? So you got to spend some time with your loved ones. OCGN. It's one of those. I think it's overvalued right now. It ran up quite a bit. I need to see a pullback before I'll buy into OCGN. Just because I talked about it in a video, I won't mention it again. But I mean, it cooled down a lot. 40% down after. Again, it was targeted by Reddit. That's the one thing with these Wall Street bets, guys. It's scary. Strong and sound companies are getting targeted by them, and then we see a major sell-off. But if we look at kind of like again, you can chart this out yourself. I'm not a person who does much charting at all, but if you kind of look at like the trajectory that I was going into, you can probably draw a line somewhere. I don't know. We can maybe have Dave or Rocky do it on the Discord. So feel free to join the Discord, and you can request. These guys know what they're doing with this charting, and they could look at drawing these kind of things. I can't, but doing my not so due diligent line, I don't know what we're gonna see with it, but it could now might be a decent buying opportunity. We could kind of find resistance and support. So yeah, feel free to join the Discord. We could probably map out a spot for you there. Not a spot, but a chart for you. But OCGN, I'm long on it. I'm not short term on it at all. I forgot where we talked about it in the channel. It was up 206. How much? What was it at? I'm just gonna pull up the video right now. On Webull. I won't do. Where we at? We talked about it at 525, and it was 861 when we last talked about OCGN. Since then, we saw it run up. So anyone who sold and doubled their money, congrats. But we saw it kind of trickle back down, 1028. So yeah, it was squeezed quite a bit. So again, know that for OCGN, I'm potentially pretty long on it. But yeah, Warren Buffett's face. Married? Oh, there's a mistake. Dave. No. I love my wife. Life is better with a partner. I didn't sell a share. Yeah. Wa alaikum salam, Farid. How are you doing? Pick a great stock, buy one share a week later, no matter what. What? Let's see what Dave said. Pick a great stock, buy one share a week. Buy one share a week. I see what he's saying. No matter what the cost is, and watch it grow. That is actually a really good point. Dollar cost averaging up for stocks you believe in. And guys, always remember, like, look at, setting up a spreadsheet and looking at your finances or financials. That's something that's very healthy to do, by the way. Looking at how much money you have coming into your bank every week or every 2 weeks, if that's what you're getting paid, or your paychecks, and come back and visit that every so often. Let's put the channel back on. I like it in the background. All the different thumbnails. Rocky Finance, just uploaded on Tilray. Let's go quickly.
What is up, YouTube? It is your host, Rocky Finance.
Like Rocky's video. I'll bring it down a second. Rocky to the moon. Rocky's the man. He's one of my Discord admins. Him and Dave are, huge supporters of the Discord. They've helped out a lot. So, quick plug for the boy Rocky. Join him on his channel. Great guy. Feel free to like and subscribe to his channel. I'm doing it live, Rocky. Doing it live. But yeah, anywho, back to what we were saying. Ahmed, brother, what are your thoughts on QS? QuantumScape? It ran up a lot. Oh, man. I know we weren't going to be talking about too much of... We weren't going to be focusing on stocks too much, but yeah, QuantumScape, it has strong potential, and I do believe in it long term. But again, solid state batteries, it's a strong topic, and we know what's happening. EV push. With the EV push comes pretty big hype and adoption from people. So, Rocky's channel. That's Rocky's channel that I just posted for anyone who wants to like his new video. He's the man. I appreciate him. But yeah. Autoimmune. Any other questions? Any Q&A type questions at all? We have a lot of diversity, man. I appreciate how diverse our chat is. Increase their position. Rafael, sorry if I mispronounced the name. Zomedica. So Vanguard did increase their position. That is 100% fact, which is pretty good news because we know Vanguard is a pretty well-established firm. So let me pull up Zomedica. Let's go here. Give me one sec, guys. All right, we're gonna pull up. Let's see. Where are we at? Let me pull it. Let me pull this for you guys. Zomedica. So, as you guys know, Vanguard did increase their position on Zomedica, and this was just last week, which is pretty big. If you want to look here, I like to look at what are these Wall Street folks doing? These guys that have been in the game for a really, really long time. So some of these 5-star. So this is just an individual investor, but he's a big guy. As you can see, he increased. So for example, just a couple guys before I even get into Vanguard and those guys. But some of these, long-term investors who have, and I use TipRanks because I just like their website. You could use any other ones, but again, you could see a lot of people are averaging up or increasing their positions. Again, pretty decent investors with good track records. But we'll look at Vanguard because that's the one that really matters. But a couple days ago, you could see a lot more people are increasing. Opened positions at $2.66. Some of these guys, $2.55, $2.57, increasing their positions. But what are the hedge funds doing? Oh, maybe it's not on here. Regardless, you could see Vanguard and Zomedica position. Let me pull out of this here for a second. But yes, this is all factuals. I did see that information and that really excited me. Give me one sec. Because it does matter, unfortunately, what these big institutional, hedge funds, firms are doing. Let's see here. Give me just a sec. Something you can always do is, for example, on CNN Money. So if you look at Zomedica here, we could see that it's 10x so far this year. CNN Business, just another place that you can look at the different institutions and institutional buy-in, etc. So we know as of right now, Vanguard is the biggest institutional investor of Zomedica. So if you could see here, they have 8.2 million shares of Zomedica. They increased their position last week. We could see all these different things. Look at BlackRock. Some did sell out. Don't get me wrong. JP Morgan, for example, they sold out their position. But guys, when the big dogs are starting to get into these plays and they're increasing their position, that needs to set off a light bulb or something and tell you, hey, this means something big is happening. So I'm guessing with Vanguard, they know about the truth. They know everything. These guys have people who are probably dedicated to just specifically Zomedica, right? Because they saw like anything that runs up suddenly is going to open up the eyes of, institutions and bigger investors. So they saw this run up and they were just like, what's happening? And they probably looked into it as, oh, geez, if you bought Zomedica, 30x. But regardless, if you see that, big institutions are buying into these, into smaller penny stock plays or smaller cap stocks, just understand that, that's a good sign for all of us. That's a good sign that more buying is going to happen because people do look at institutional investors as people who are more reputable than some random people on YouTube or people who are talking about it on the sidelines. Because again, we're smaller. But I know it says here the latest for Vanguard is 1231, but I did see that they did buy in, last week during sometime in February when there was a little bit of a pullback, but they did buy in a substantial more amount of shares. So I'll make a video on that specifically. I don't want to go off on a tangent. Zomedica just excites me when anyone talks about it. So yeah. But yeah, VYNE, Avant Therapeutics. I'm not worried about. I know a lot of people have been saying, "Hey, what's happening?" But yeah, I'll definitely touch on. I'll make a video tonight for Zomedica update. Of course, with that, I'm going to add the information about the increased institutional buying. Very good news for all of us who are holding Zomedica, in my opinion. Now, X-Run, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. You are appreciated. Thank you. And so he says here, what do you think about ASRT? Looks undervalued to me. Also, they are reconstructing their whole team, and they have 7 FDA-approved drugs. X-Run HD. My man, thank you for bringing this one up. Let's go ahead and pull up this one because I'm not familiar with it. ASRT, I think you said. Is that right? ASRT. So let's see. Pharmaceutical company, Depomed, Depo Provera. So I know usually Depo is, let's just pull up their website quick because I want to do more of that. Looking at the 6 month. Okay. So still nothing, probably no news around the company. The 1 year chart looks like it's been running sideways for a really long time. The 5 year. Okay, so it's down. Looks like it's, it's pretty much at its low. I'm sure there's like no news or maybe some poor information about there was some information about clinical trials. Something probably went bad for the company where they had this drop off, but I'll take a peek at it. Looks like in 2016 they peaked, 2015, $32 a share. So the question right now is, can they recover, right? What happened that caused, Depomed. So let's pull up their website quick. Give me 1 sec. Restoring lives. So February 10th, they announced pricing of $34.3 million registered offering. Anytime there's an offering, usually that means that was on the 12th. So if we look at the 5-day, let's look at the 12th. Was that Friday? It was. So regardless, looks like they did a recent direct offering. I'll just look at the quick and dirty recent news headlines. So that's really, it looks like they did 34, yep, and then just reiterated. Then on February 9th, they announced an additional offering. So a lot of liquidation, a lot of dilution. I personally am not a fan of lots of dilution. 14 million, 34.3. That's a lot of dilution, but there must be a reason why. And unfortunately, we see that oftentimes with these penny stocks is a lot of dilution. So maybe their products aren't doing well. That's usually a big thing. I don't know if they've had recent revenues reported, but let's see what they have on their pipeline currently. It's FDA approved products. So Cambia, diclofenac, which is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. So anyone who's used ibuprofen in the past, or if you used any other types of NSAIDs, know that diclofenac is very similar, and it just does a better job usually than ibuprofen for inflammation. So Indocin, I'm guessing that's indomethacin, which it says it here. Yes, they have a suspension, so more of a pediatric type formulation. Kids and very, old geriatric patients can't really take or swallow capsules. So having suspendable medications is always a benefit. So this was an oral solution, diclofenac, suspension, suppository. So again, for babies or even older adults, or anyone that's NPO, nothing by mouth, basically, if they have that kind of order on their from their doctors or for whatever reason, they'll have to use things that are, other types of formulations or other routes of administration. So suppositories for this one, for example, is one. They have an oxycodone, so a narcotic, on their Oxyodo. So this one is oxycodone tablets. So a lot of manufacturers, we know Purdue Pharma. We have a lot of other manufacturers of oxy and other narcotics, name brand and generic. So again, nothing. I'm just interested in these different types of formulations. That's pretty unique. A ketorolac nasal spray. That's super interesting. An NSAID nasal spray. So I wonder, that's probably going to be for localized action. So someone who has, inflammation specifically in their nasopharyngeal type location, maybe in their upper sinuses. So that's maybe a potential use for that, because you're not going to get much systemic absorption for something like that. Meloxicam. We know meloxicam, another NSAID. So it looks like their niche here, their focus is huge on specifically non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications, NSAIDs, with different types of formulations. Pretty unique, but I want to know, are these products doing well in the market? What are their revenues looking like year over year, quarter over quarter? So they probably have their financial information here. I don't want to do a deep dive because, again, that's not what most people are here for, but this might be an opportunity. I like seeing new things like this. So let's look at some of their financial information. Let's see. So the products, as I mentioned, they make me raise my eyebrows, because I'm like, okay, that's pretty unique that they have some of those products there. But again, the fact they're $140 million and they've been doing a lot of dilution makes me think that they're not financially stable. They don't have enough capital coming in, so it's probably concerning. Merger, each issue outstanding. Let's see. Looks like this was from 2020, so maybe a little outdated. Again, this is just an annual, looks like a proxy statement. Here's an annual report. Who mentioned this one? Let me go back up. Xrun HD. I will get back to you. Are you on Discord, Xrun, by the way? If you want to make sure to add me on Discord, just join our Discord channel, please do so. And I will actually look into this one, because it's their products interest me, just the fact that they're products. But again, the dilutions don't. I don't like seeing that. Too much dilutions. Or liquidation of shares, just because they probably need capital. So I don't want to bore everyone. I will look into it. Here's their year over year. Let's see. The following tables shows the sales of each of their above described products over each of the last few years. So Cambia, Zipsor, looks like, a few of their NSAIDs. Looks like they had a decline in sales. Decline from 2018 to 2019. Again, they don't have any 2020 revenues on this listing. So I'll look into it, but right now it seems like financially they're not doing very well. That's always a concern for pharmaceutical companies. So I want to do more of a search. 52-week low at 33 cents a share, at a high 145, right now 114. We'll see. I'll keep this one on my radar, so thank you for bringing it up. I don't want to make this stream strictly about talking about different stock picks, but the fact that you dropped a super chat, I'll respect that. So Xrun, I'll look into it and I'll definitely get back to you, my friend. I'll write it down quickly on my phone so I know to look into it on my watch list. So give me one sec, guys. And ENZC, Sean, I'll look into that in just a sec. This is going to be now pharmaceutical stock talk, huh? Pharmaceutical stock talk. I like the sound of that. But XDE. ASRT watch list. Specifically, I want to look at their financials, because if they're financially, the liquidation makes me, I know for a fact there's something wrong with their financials, but I want to know, are they going to be able to get over it based off their products or projected revenues incoming? So thank you, Xrun HD. Well, everyone, I'll give you guys an update again on the Discord first before I make a video, if I decide that this is a company that I potentially might invest in. But so far, I don't see, there is some negatives, but some of the products do intrigue me. So that's my ASRT quick quick dive, nothing crazy, not a deep dive at all. So, Sean Sullivan. Sean, are you invested in ENZC? So, Enzolytics. It's in the OTC market. Personally, guys, you know my take. I personally do not like things that are on the OTC market because typically that just means they're extremely high risk, but also extremely high reward if they do well. I'm just a person who doesn't really do much of a deep dive, or do I put those on my videos, because the fact that they're high risk makes me very careful and afraid of putting a video on it, because I know a lot of people just chase stocks when they see them online or see them on videos. I don't want you guys to think, okay, this is already, it's a well-established, good company that I can trust in. But let's see what they have anyway, because the fact that, you brought it up, I'll still look into it. I like the name. I'm guessing they either have to do with digestive or some type of enzymes. Enzolytics. Sounds pretty unique. Do they have a website? Enzolytics. Bioclonics. Is that their full name? No. I want to go on their website. OTC markets. So it's in the OTC markets, which scares me. I don't usually come in here. But let's look into it. Enzolytics is a drug development company committed to the commercialization of its proprietary proteins for the treatment of debilitating infectious diseases. Okay, respectable. The company is committed to creating drugs for better health of mankind. ENZC flagship compound ITV1 is a suspension of an activated pepsin fragment. Pepsin, again, that's going to be a GI-related enzyme. And again, we know that GI disorders, gastrointestinal disorders, are plaguing the entire world. It's not just one country or the other, guys. GI disorders are everywhere because the foods that we are eating are just, they're just not so good. We're eating a lot of processed foods, processed meats, things that are going through a lot of processing that in turn, when we ingest, are creating this, dysbiosis in our GI tracts. It's really just throwing us off quite a bit. But again, which studies and shown is the effectiveness in the treatment of HIV. So pepsin. So this one is actually for HIV though. Interesting. So pepsinogen is probably what I was thinking about. Regardless, IPF is the active drug substance in ITV1 and is purified extract of porcine pepsin. So ITV1 has been shown to modulate the immune system. IPF is a platform technology. Okay, so gastrointestinal. So it's free from major neurological, gastrointestinal, hematological side effects. I don't know. I don't know much about it. Where is their... I need to look into their website quite a bit first. I want to know more about it before I'll talk about it. Again, probably not going to be a video idea for me because it's in the OTC market, unless some fantastic news comes around. Enzolytics. What is their ticker symbol? EZ. You mentioned it. Let me scroll up. ENZC. ENZC. I don't want to bore everyone, so sorry that I dived in. It's down 16.69%. Peaked at 83 cents. Was at 1 cent. Wow. That's what I mean. 82x. That's insanity. That's the thing with the OTC market. I don't consider OTC market as usually a place to invest, rather gamble. But don't get me wrong. I don't want to say that there aren't some really solid companies that emerged from that were once upon a time in the OTC market. Very possible. But Enzolytics is something that I'll definitely look into. Just to give you my take on it, Mr. Sean. So please feel free to message me on Discord. I'll definitely keep an eye out for Enzolytics because, again, any company that's looking for potential treatment or cure for HIV, or and as you mentioned, some of the things that they might have on their pipeline for COVID, send me their website too, Sean. Send me a DM about their website. So I'll definitely keep an eye out and look for that as well. All right, guys. Anything else? This was supposed to be a Q&A. We talked about some things. You guys got to know me a little better. I got to know some of you, which was great. Darius, it's a gift. Dave, you are a savage. Oh, you guys are having good conversations in here. Any pets? I don't have any pets, believe it or not. I talk about Zomedica all the time. We're thinking about getting a cat, but we haven't committed yet. But currently no pets at all. No pets. How about you, Darist? Do you have any pets? I know Dave has his parrot on his picture. Parrot or parakeet? Parrot, I think. There are no absolutes or black or white answers on the market. It's called speculation. Exactly. Everything is speculative. Gotcha. SNG. Do you think ZSAN, Zosano Pharma, microneedle technology is legit? Microneedles always intrigued me. I had a professor where I went to pharmacy school that was basically committing her whole career and life into microneedles. You know, again, she was really into the whole dermatological applications for drug delivery. So Exron, you know, again, I don't know much about the company itself, but I do want to, anything that has unique drug delivery systems intrigues me for the future, because oral tablets, capsules are getting pretty old. It's old-fashioned, they work, but if there are other ways to bypass the mouth, which in turn bypasses the esophagus, the GI tract, the liver, all these different systems, that's going to be potentially huge for the future. AEZS. Yeah, I don't know too much about it, Mamoon. We'll have to see what happens. AEZS. I know you brought it up last stream too. But yeah. Did fly up and did come back down. So I don't know I think this was maybe one that was targeted then, because looking at the date that it skyrocketed, February 5th to February 8th, Friday, 200% increase. So I think it was squeezed heavily. But yeah, definitely. We just, for a lot of these pharmaceutical companies, guys, if they're not going to be finishing any clinical trials, their NDA application, or, you know, we're awaiting some type of news to come out. One thing to always look at is, I always mention, you know, in previous videos, I talked about the PDUFA calendar. PDUFA calendar. And you can go on biopharmacatalyst.com. This is a great tool, open to the public. You can look at the dates that certain companies or certain pharmaceutical companies are looking to finally get FDA approval. That is a huge catalyst if it ends up getting approved or okayed by the FDA. The next day, oftentimes we see prices of that stock shoot up, especially if they're a penny stock. Look at this here, Strata. What is that? Strata Graft Skin Tissue, MNKKQ. Looks like they have PDUFA under priority review, February 2nd. However, the action by the FDA has been deferred due to COVID-19. So it looks like that happened beginning of February, but it was deferred. So that's not the greatest news. But yeah, I mean, just a place to look for potential companies that are going to get FDA approval or additional approval for some of their products. This is great here. Biopharmcatalyst.com. Great website for anyone that's interested in looking at, you know, potential dates for certain things that are going to be FDA approved. All right. But also, that's not the only thing to look for. It's not just FDA approval. Also, good news, good sentiments around a pharmaceutical company. So look out for, you know, keep your eye out for certain big medical or genomic pharmaceutical conferences, because oftentimes that's what people will present initial data or initial findings about certain things. And no, when a company is going to these, they're not going there. People in the medical field, you need to understand, people in the medical realm, medical field, pharmaceutical companies, whatever, scientists, it's a dog-eat-dog world. A lot of these guys are, you know, looking to expand. You know, they're not there to share bad news. They are there to kind of show off great data, especially when it comes to these big conferences. You know, we saw it with BNGO. They shared some pretty important data, and what happened? Immediately after, we saw the stock shoot up. Same thing for Vero Therapeutics, VERU. Good news came out. It grew, I think it was, 700% increase in one day because of it. Look at Vero Therapeutics. I think it was here. No, here. It went up, yeah, about 200%. I don't think that's the right timeline. It shot up more than that. Regardless, we see this oftentimes with pharmaceutical companies. They spike after some news comes out. and people do end up taking profits, then it kind of comes back down. But again, that might present buying opportunities for everyone else. So try to get in early on these plays, and I'll try to be a person on the Discord. I mentioned, like, for example, Arena Therapeutics with their product that did get FDA approval. I told everyone it's high risk because if they don't get approval, it's going to drop like a rock. But if it does get approved, it's a good buying opportunity. So I said, you can buy before the news. It did get approved. We saw it go up. Take your profits and wait to see, what happens in the future with that company. Just playing the game, and I'll make a video on how to play pharmaceutical stocks, pharmaceutical company stocks, especially those that are still are very young in their stages, like Atosa Therapeutics or any of the others that we're waiting for some news to come out, but we're just buying in as early adopters before we see it spike, because that happens very, very often, unfortunately. So I'll definitely make an update video on Zomedica later today, guys. Thank you for everyone who tuned in today to the stream. It has been super fun. For all the super chatters, that's what I'll call you, super chatters. Sean, shout out to you, Extra and HD, and Dave. Dave dropping a bunch of super chats. You have been nothing but fantastic, guys. I've enjoyed every minute today of the stream. I don't want to make it go on for too long because I should spend some time with the family over here. And any last words of wisdoms from anyone, please feel free to drop it in the chat. Let's see what you guys have to say. Vine Therapeutics, I have a video on it, so make sure to tune in. So Dave is dropping a lot of gems here. What do you say here? It's great when a stock goes up. However, always look to the left of the chart to see how many bag holders are willing to take profits to break even. He knows the name of the game, Mr. Dave. Not a financial advisor, but he knows the name of the game. Ines, I wish you infinite gains as well. I hope 2021 brings us all a lot of success, guys. I appreciate all of you. Please, continue liking, commenting on the videos early on. I appreciate you all. Buy high, sell low. We see that all the time. Yep. Make sure you're not one of those people that buys high and sells low. Only put your money into companies you believe in, companies that you are long on, guys. Please be careful in the stock market. I repetitively say that over and over again. Only take my channel as just one resource, one aspect of your due diligence. Then go on and do your own research before you put your money in. Don't chase. Don't just put money into something thinking, oh, it's going to double by tomorrow. Do your research. And again, remember, entertainment and educational purposes only. That's what I'm here for. So I appreciate you all for joining us on the stream. And until next time, everyone, keep investing.